Good evening, and a happy International Podcast Day to all the podcasters out there representing USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, YouTuber, creator, host with the most, misunderstood lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, and rookie podcaster of Queens, New York. And you're rocking and hanging with the 86th episode of Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, live and direct from StreamYard alongside of YouTube and myself is the Instagram live feed of the podcast show page. Be sure to turn on your notifications so you can know when each episode is going to be dropping. Now the schedule is Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. The the recording schedule is going to be Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. All right. And speaking of which, if you are a new listener and new to the channel in the YouTube universe, welcome to the show. And you miss any previous episodes whatsoever, don't worry, I got you covered. Go ahead and grab that subscribe button for me on the Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast YouTube channel page. Tap that noni bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream. Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes, along with the topics that's going to be reviewed, and of course, more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes, including the new and the latest episodes that's dropped on the YouTube channel pages already, uploaded and posted. So I will handle the rest on where you can the stream the episodes at the end of the show. All right. Now, how I'm feeling mentally, physically, and spiritually, you ask? First and foremost, I'm pretty excited because of International Podcast Day, and I actually dedicated an episode on my other platform, Off the Meat Rack Chains New York podcast, filling you in on what International Podcast Day is about and how do you celebrate it and stuff. So if you haven't checked it out, it's on my YouTube channel, G Money Stacks 555, episode 188. Go ahead and check that out on YouTube. I will be dropping 187 and 188 of my New York podcast after this recording. So there you have it right there, man. So mentally, physically, and spiritually, you ask, yes, I am excited, not just because of International Podcast Day, but I'm also excited because you know my number one show we're about to hit close to we're close to the 190s, and it's pretty dope for me to actually enjoy the creation of putting out content and making the best content as possible. Look, as a podcaster, there's no such thing as a perfect content. There's no such thing because not not everybody has everything figured out. And as for me, I don't really have everything figured out, but I'm doing the best I can to actually reach out to as many people as I can. Um, Even though I can't drive everywhere and I can't walk on foot to every neighborhood and shit, um, all I could do is just use my voice and to express myself. You know what I'm saying? So so overall, mentally, physically, and spiritually, I ain't doing all right. Um, and let's get started. I know the Mets game is on right now, so I'm gonna watch that after this episode recording. So let's get into a little thing right here. Grab your glasses of drinks, water, water, juice, whatever it is you have in your refrigerator, go ahead and grab that so you can get a sip of this music Kool-Aid that we're about to get into. And the first artist we're going to review today in this segment, of course, today's episode is Frankie J and Baby Bash. So here it is. All right. All right, Frankie J. Okay, so for those of you who may not know who Frankie J is, I'll fill you in. So Francisco Avia Bautista Jr., born December 7th, 1975, better known by his stage name Frankie J, is a Mexican American singer and former member of the musical group Cumbia Kings. Born in Mexico, he grew up in San Diego and became a freestyle artist under the stage name Frankie Boy in the late 1990s. He then joined Cumbia Kings before re-embarking on a solo career. Frankie J's solo debut album, What's a Man to Do, was released in 2003, followed by more English and Spanish language albums. He received a Grammy Award nomination for his album Faith Hope y Amor in 2013 for Best Latin Pop Album. Okay, so Bautista's first taste of the music business was in 1993 when he was briefly signed to Canadian independent record label Ventura International Records, featuring on a song called Margarita by Turkish artist Attila. In 1987, Batista signed with the now defunct um, Holla Records, no Holla Recordings, excuse me, which at the time had only one artist signed to the label. The brainchild of dance music legend and producer Jelly Bean Jelly Bean Benitez. At the time, he was a freestyle artist known as Frankie Boy, and his music was released on three Maximum Freestyle compilations, but his solo CD was shelved before release. Cumbia Kings from 1999 to 2003. In 1999, he became a member of the Cumbia Kings created by A.B. Quintanilla, brother of Selena. He performed under Cisco. Solo career, What's a Man to Do? Frankie J signed as a solo artist with Columbia Records and released his first album, What's a Man to Do, on May 27, 2003. His self-titled first Spanish language album, Frankie J, was also released later in the same year. The album's lead single, Don't Wanna Try, peaked at number 19 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart, while Ya No Es Igual went top 10 on the world Latin charts. Later that year, he was featured in the top Billboard Hot 100 hit Sugar Sugar by rapper Baby Bash, who I will review next. The One and Breakthrough, his second album, The One, was released on March 22nd, 2005. It was led by the number three Billboard Hot 100 hit Obsession, featuring rapper Baby Bash, and followed by the top 40 singles How to Deal and More Than Words. To coincide with the release of More Than Words, the album was re released on the dual disc format in October. By January 2006, The One was certified platinum by the RIAA for shipping over a million copies. His second Spanish language album, On Nuevo Dia, was released on June 13th, 2006, and featured the single Pensado NT. Frankie's third English language album, Priceless, was released on October 17th, 2006. It debuted at number 30 on the Billboard 200. The lead single, That Girl, featured Chameleonaire and Manny Fresh, and peaked at number 43 on the Billboard Hot 100. A second single, Daddy's Little Girl, charted at number 23 on the Billboard Bubbling under Hot 100 chart. The independent route. Following his departure from Columbia Records, Frankie J released a few singles, of course, Pictures, If You Were My Girlfriend, and Crush, between 2008 and 2011, as well as starting um, his own label, Soul Sick Records. He has also written songs for other artists, most recently the number two hit song, Take a Chance on Me, in the United Kingdom for boy band JLS. He released his fourth English language studio album, Courage, on December 7th, 2011. The lead single, How Beautiful You Are, was released to digital retailers on October 24th, 2011. The music the music video was directed by Mike Ho. Oh man. Oh man. And premiered on YouTube on September 11th, 2011. The video for the album's second single, And I Had You There, premiered on Frankie's YouTube channel on November 26th, 2011. Frankie J and Baby Bash shot a video for the album's third single, That's What's Up, in December 2011 in San Diego, California. The video premiered on January the 8th. On July 12th, 2012, it was announced that Frankie J will join Jennifer Lopez and Enrique Iglesias on their joint North American tour, serving as a special guest, replacing Wyson and Yando, who were initially the opening act. Of course, in 2011, he signed with Universal Music and began work on a new Spanish language album. He released two digital singles, AAA and um, Tina's Cube Career and Me, Take a Chance on Me, in late 2012. In 2013, he released his new album, Faith, Hope, y Amor, on May 28th, 2013. The album was nominated for the 56th annual Grammy Award under the category of Best Latin Pop Album. It was preceded by the release of the singles No T, Cuero Ver Con E, and Beautiful, featuring Pitbull. Impossible was also released as a single. On November 26, 2015, he premiered the single Breaking with a music video premiered on December 14th. The digital single was released on December 25th, 2015. Four additional singles, Let the Music Take Control, I Promise You, Riches in Heaven, and Body Rock, followed in 2016. He announced his next album would be titled More Than the Music. Another single, Not So Dangerous, was released on December 25th, 2016. In March 2017, he scored a radio hit with Si Una Vez If I Once, which was a collaboration with Play and Skills, Wyson and Leslie Grace. In June, he collaborated with Baby Bash for a new single titled Vamanos. The following month, in July, he released a new single, Low Rider, with Baby Bash, C. Can, Ozomatli, and Kid Frost. On July 27th, he released his new studio album titled 11 through his own label, Soul Sick Music Incorporated. And the acting, Frankie appeared at the 16th birthday party of Marissa Michelle on MTV's My Super Sweet 16. In 2011, he joined the Mun2 television series RPM Miami as mechanic Ramon, excuse me. The series was quickly renewed for a second season. Um, okay, so so there it is. Wait a minute here. Wait a minute here. So let's see. So the US for What's a Man to Do for the album, 53. Um, the self-titled album Frankie J, US Latin 57. The one um, for US is 3, and in Australia is 88. Un Nuevo Dia, um, US is 198, and US Latin is 9. Priceless 30. Um, Faith, Hope, E, Amor 7. Courage Not Applicable. 11. Not applicable. Not to be determined. The rest is to be determined. Um, yeah. So don't want to try. For US is 19. US US right 8. Australia 81. Um, US Rye 22, and Yano S Eagle 11. Obsession, okay, 3, 69, 2, 3, 5, 4, 24, and 38. Um, Gold. How to Deal 39. US, US Ron 6. Also went gold. More Than Words, gold. And that girl featuring Manny Fresh and Chameleon 43. Um, Daddy's Little Girl, 123 and 18. And the rest is just not, and the rest is not available. So let's move on to, hold on a minute here. Yeah, let's move on to Beanie Bash for a sec. All right, so um okay, so Ronald Ray Bryant, born October 18th, 1975, better known by his stage name, formerly Baby Beesh, is an American rapper and singer from 1985 until 1998 as part of Dope House Records, after which he changed the last part of his stage name to Bash. His first album, Savage Dreams, 2001, was followed by On the Cool 2002, and his first major label release, The Smoking Nephew, 2003. The album included the single Sugar Sugar alongside Frankie J, which peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. Um, in 2005, Super Saucy was released, preceded, preceded, excuse me, by the lead single "Baby I'm Back" featuring Akon. Cyclone followed in 2007 with its title single featuring T Pain and its follow-up, "What It Is." No, what is it? Featuring Sean Kingston, finding moderate success on the Billboard charts as well. He contributed to other performers' works, including the song "Obsession" by the Third Wish, released in Europe, and later a US release with a recording of the European version performed by Frankie J in 2005. And Doing Too Much by Paula De Anda in 2006. He has collaborated with numerous other artists during his career, such as West Coast rappers Be Legit, Sibo, and the late great Coolio, who passed away, E40, and Mac Dre, R&B singers like Akon, Avant, Natalie, Bohemia, Mario, and the late great Nate Dogg, and other Latino rappers such as Fat Joe, Nino B, Doll E Girl, South Park Mexican, Frost, and Pitbull. He continues to write lyrics for singers such as Paula Deonda, Jennifer Hudson, who has a talk show, and Frankie J. Okay, so Brian was born in Vallejo, California, to a Mexican mother from um Mendota, California. Bryant was raised by his grandmother and Bryant's father and uncles, exposed him to many different types of musical genres. Initially, Bryant wanted to be a professional basketball player. He planned to play basketball for the junior college he attended in California during the mid 1990s. An ankle injury prevented Bryant from pursuing basketball as a career. 2001 to 2002, Savage Dreams and On the Cool. Bryant's music career began as part of the group Partner Deuce in Vallejo, California. He went to Houston in 1998, where he met fellow rapper South Park Mexican. He went to prior to his success as a solo artist. He, under the name Baby Beach, was part of rap groups Partner Deuce and Latino Velvet. um, Bash's Bash's debut album Savage Dreams was released on the independent label Dope House Records in 2001. The album features guest performances by South Park Mexican Ross J.T., Mr. Key, Don Cisco, and Merciless. On the Cool is his second studio album, released June 11th, 2002 on Dope House Records. It was produced by Happy P and Johnny Z. The album features guest performances by SPM, JT, Russell Lee, Don Cisco, Mr. Shadow, and DJ Kane. From 2003 to 2005, the Smoking Nephew um, Minaj, a Troy, and Super Saucy. The acclaim he received caught the attention of Universal Records, who signed him later that year. In 2003, Baby Bash released his first album on a major label, The Smoking Nephew. It debuted at number 48 on the Billboard 200. 5 months after its release, the album was certified gold by the RIAA. As of March 2005, the album has sold 531,000 copies in the United States. Manage a Troy is an independent label album, plus fifth album overall by Baby Bash. In 2005, Bash released Super Saucy. Super Saucy is the first official studio album, sixth album overall by Baby Bash, released in March 2005. It spawned the hit single "Baby I'm Back" featuring Akon, which reached number 19 on the Billboard Hot 100. It is also his last release on Universal Records before signing with Arista. The album debuted at number 11 on the Billboard 200 with 48,000 copies sold in the first week released, becoming Baby Bash's highest charting album to date. Hang on a sec. 2006 to 2011, Cyclone and Bashtown. He was featured on Paula Deonda's first single, Doing Too Much, from her debut album, Paula Deonda. His third studio album, Cyclone, initially titled Ronnie Ray All Day, was released in late October 2007. So far, Bryant has released three singles from the album: Mamacita featuring Marcos Hernandez, Nana, and Cyclone featuring Mikhail and T Pain. During the month of the album's release, Baby Bash became MySpace's number one Latin artist, and the single Cyclone sold over 750,000 digital copies and ringtones prior to the album's release. Bryant's completed a film titled Primo, starring Chingo Bling and Danny Trejo. The comedy involves three cousins working in a bakery with dreams of making money, and was released in 2010. His major label debut, The Smoking Nephew, was well received by all music, but his 2007 album Cyclone was given mixed reviews, including a negative review by Rolling Stone magazine. Bashtown is the fourth studio album by Bryant. Released on March 22nd, 2011, it is the first album to be released on Upstairs Records. Bastion features production from Jen Johnson, Prince Board, Happy P, um, Mikhail J. Lacey, and C. Ballin. It features vocal guests E40, Paul Wall, Slim Thug, and Lloyd, among others. According to Bryant, the album was recorded in 2010. In December 2010, Bryant was offered a job as an on-air personality for Wild 94.9, Arithmetic, contemporary commercial radio station in San Francisco, California. In the same month, Bryant announced that he would be endorsing a new energy drink for women named after his 2011 single "Go Girl." Part of the sales proceeds um, from the energy drink will be donated to various charities for breast cancer and ovarian cancer research for women. And from 2011 to the present, Unsung and Rest. Brian was arrested with Paul Wall on the night of September 10th, 2011, in El Paso, Texas, for possession of marijuana. Oh boy. Oh wow. Both rappers were released the same night on 300 dollars bail. Bryant has a son named Brando Ray. On December 17, 2013, Bryant released his eighth studio album, Unsung. The album features artists such as Too Short, Miguel, and Problem. Production credits of the album belong to DJ Rex, Happy Perez, Mikhail, Jay Lacey, and C. Ballin. What kind of fucking name is this, man? C. Ballin. Oh shit. Oh man, that's really funny right there. Yeah, so of course he's in films like Filthy Brown and Vengeance. Let's see. Um, okay, let's see. I did not get to do any particular albums that's being released. I'm gonna get to first of all, I didn't get a chance to do this. Wait, I think I did this one already. Um anyway. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Well, yeah. Um trying to figure out something. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's see. Come on, 2022 album release. Okay, so we got some album releases that's gonna be coming up. Now, most recently, I'm not sure exactly. So let me see. So today's the 30th. So let's see. So it's a difficult task to keep track of all the music that's being released in a given week, let alone a month or whole year. From pop and hip hop to alternative, K-pop, country, and more. The choices for music fans can feel endless. And that's not even considering vinyl, re-releases, and collectible editions. Below, check check out Billboard's running monthly calendar of upcoming releases to stay in the know. Check back often for updates to our schedule of albums to look forward to each week. Okay, so starting with October the 7th, which is next Friday. So there's Broken Bells, Into the Blue, Charlie Puth, Charlie, Lamb of God, Omens, Quavo and Takeoff, only built for Infinity Links, Stray Kids, Maxident, Willow, Coping Mechanism. October 11th, Offset, not yet announced. October 14th, Danita, Highways. Mickey Blanco, Stay Close to Music. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Return of the Dream Canteen. 1975, Being Funny in a Foreign Language. Tuv, Low. Dirt, Feme. October 21st. Yeah, let me save October 21st for next time, man. So that's pretty much what the upcoming albums for October is going to be coming up. So now we get to go to our now we get to go to our you know next segment has to do with the gaming community actually. So we're gonna get into it as soon as I find it. As soon as I find it actually. Okay. Now we can go to now we can go to this segment right here. Video games chamber. Right. This is for the gamers out there that I know who is into gaming, and of course, not just the game systems, but also it's all. I'm also in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be reviewing a game that's on phone apps and Android tablets. So here it is, the video game chamber. Let's do this right now. Okay, so the month of October is coming up, and we got some stuff to go over. Um, So starting with October the 4th, the Car Desert Rally for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, Nintendo Switch to be exact, which is PC. October the 4th. Also coming up October the 4th is Overwatch 2, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Deathverse, Let It Die for PC, October the 5th. Near Automata, Nintendo Switch, October the 6th. No Man's Sky, um, October the 7th. Um, and let's see. Um, let's do Near Automata. Um, if I forgot, if I read that already. Well, all right. So, a common combination for games with open worlds is how alive the surroundings feel. With bustling cities and sprawling crowds, many titles draw players in by immersing them in a vibrant setting. Near Automata takes the opposite approach. It forges an identity in the desolation of its post apocalyptic world. From the perspectives of multiple android protagonists, you slash through an army of hostile machines and explore a war blasted landscape and invites you to consider the, the preciousness of life through its absence. A ruined Earth populated solely by killer robots is an unlikely place for quiet and poignant moments. But Near Automata's ability to pull them off is its best feature. Now, no humans remain on the planet, so machines and androids struggle to find purpose through a mixture of quests and brief exchanges. You 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 encounter machines who read the works read the works of long dead philosophers and androids driven mad by never ending conflict. These scenarios are accentuated by a haunting soundtrack that establishes a perfectly bleak atmosphere. Even though some scenes are stilted and forced, the strangeness is consistent and the characters are compelling enough to keep propelling you forward, often in spite of the gameplay. Beyond their similarly um, melancholy um, backtrack, excuse me, backdrops, the connections between Near Automata and the original Near are peripheral um, but present for fans. Anyone can jump in with this title, and Developer Platinum Games has ensured that the combat system is accessible to players of all skill levels. It looks like a lot like the stylish action of Bayonetta, also from Platinum, with your characters performing flashy dodges while executing a variety of ranged and melee attacks. The format occasionally switches to a few different takes on the top down shooter genre, making you maneuver through a screen full of projectiles. These departures are neat, but are more like mini games than fully featured encounters. The core battle system is fast paced, third person action that provides simple fun, but a lack of meaningful progression prevents the gameplay from being satisfying over the long haul. You don't acquire many additional techniques that open up new angles in battle, and the differences in your hero's abilities doesn't add meaningful variety. As a result, your tactics at the beginning and the end of the game are largely the same. You get new weapons with varying attack speeds and combo patterns, but they don't feel different enough to justify your ability to switch between two weapon sets, especially when comparing weapons that have been upgraded versus those that haven't. The different visual effects are cool, but I rarely had a practical reason to stray from the weapon set I had invested in most heavily. Under the hood, the main source of growth comes from equipping plug-in chips that provide a wide range of bonuses, from increased melee attacks to health regeneration. Capacity for these is limited, so the strategy comes from maximizing benefit and minimizing cost through a clever fusion system. For instance, combining two chips that give you a 4% boost to weapon attacks is more cost effective than equipping them individually, freeing up space for additional improvements. Like this in concept, but most plugins only provide percentage based boosts to stats and abilities, so they don't do much to diversify your arsenal. Near Armada it also has problems um with repetition, an issue that plagued its predecessor. The story is stretched over three campaigns that send you back to the same areas and even the exact same story moments and encounters. How and why this happens is one of Near Automata's surprises, so I won't ruin it. But don't be fooled when the credits roll. When this unfolding narrative and its hidden endings is an interesting experiment, it spreads the world too thin and doesn't add enough new information when you revisit familiar situations. By the time I reached the true ending after nearly 40 hours and most of the side quests, I felt like I only saw about 25 hours worth of game cut up and reconstituted in various ways. Some parts of Near Automata genuinely thrilled and surprised me, but it is a constant exercise in sacrifice. Combat has improved compared to the original Near, but it still isn't fully engaging. The progression system has cool ideas, but doesn't offer enough depth. The premise is fascinating, but it is dulled by repetition, ultimately tapping into the sad and unique story that flows under the surface of Near. Automata makes these trade-offs worthwhile, but I'm disappointed by how deeply it's buried. Concept explore barren world as android soldiers in a never-ending war against the machines. The graphics, a few character designs, and environments stand out as high points in a largely unremarkable visual landscape. The sorrow tinged soundtrack is amazing and the most consistent, excellent part of the game. Playability, controls well apart from an occasionally uncooperative camera. While the story has many cool and interesting moments, the repetition and lack of depth make them hard to fully appreciate. And replay is moderately high. Let's see. No Man's Sky is also on Nintendo Switch as well. Um, yes. In its finest moments, No Man's Sky is a sublime exploration of the infinitude of space, the beauty and variation of nature, and a quiet contemplation and loneliness. That ambitious vision is accomplished through one of the most sophisticated approaches to procedural content generation I've ever seen, in which entire ecosystems spring up across any one of millions of potential planets. However, No Man's Sky rarely reaches beyond its vibrant world building efforts to provide satisfying gameplay and story. Over dozens of hours of gameplay, I couldn't escape the sensation that I was playing one impossibly immense side mission, and I kept waiting for the real game to start. No Man's Sky only No Man's Sky opens on a mysterious planet, one that no other player has ever seen or visited. Your ship is broken and it needs to be repaired. You you mine you mine resources and survey landscapes, hold mechanical sentinels at bay, and unearth alien monoliths from beneath multicolored flora. Navigate through the atmosphere and into the great beyond of outer space. Dare to confront pirates and visit trade oriented space stations. Beyond this unknown solar system, a galaxy of planets and moons await discovery. The scope of potential encounters is mind boggling, and I found a great deal of joy in the aimless wandering. Along the way, expect to hear the phrase no free slots in inventory. More than anything else, Hello Games has made inventory management and expansion the centerpiece of its gameplay loop. And your willingness to repeatedly confront that often tedious task tells you a lot about whether this outer space epic is for you. Money cost acquisition and resource farming is aimed at broadening your carrying capacity. That fixation on gardening, no, excuse me, gathering and mining is enjoyable in the early hours, but the Continued focus grows increasingly dull as the game wears on. Here is the collection mechanic popularized by games like Minecraft, but without the same opportunity for creative building that characterizes the second part of the equation. The only reward in diligence is better tools and more space to store your plunder, with little in the way of meaningful story or changes to gameplay to maintain excitement. Combat with hostile forces, both on the ground and in outer space, is only one small part of the experience. Fighting functions adequately, but falls short of providing thrills, since the shooting mechanics and weaponry are both limited. The rest of the game is composed of the minor tasks that hold equal weight in the progression loop, including scanning planet zoology, surviving extreme conditions, learning alien languages, and encountering sentient beings in brief and often enigmatic conversations. Whether you are tracking down that last elusive species on an undiscovered world or conversing with a fellow traveler that communicates through scent, the focus is always on strangeness and isolation. It's crazy. That's crazy, isn't it? Um, yeah, isolation. All right. Yeah. The game succeeds in communicating those feelings early on, but the struggles to remain novel with each passing hour. A minimal and optional story thread weaves through your nomadic galactic drifter lifestyle. Oh shit. The mystery of the Atlas beckons from increasingly distant stars and provides good reason to see the narrative through to its completion, if only as a small character to prompt continued planetary exploration. Um, Monolithic structures within deep space and alien anomalies are inducing the first time you find them. I just wish these encounters maintain that inscrutable quality upon subsequent required visits. Instead, these repeated and similar sequences lose a little magic with each appearance. The aimless and freedom pervades No Man's Sky. The sensation is clearly purposeful, but it's not always pleasant. Without more meaningful rewards or engaging moment to moment action, the mid and end game experiences teeter away from uh, sci fi splendor and into repetition. No Man's Sky is a universe rich in potential, and it is steeped in classic science fiction tropes. It's a game space begging for additional crafted content, and I hope Hello Games continues to add more over time. For many, this freedom experience may not meet the towering expectations that preceded its launch. Nonetheless, it's frequently an enthralling place to visit. Even after many hours of galactic pioneer work, I still find myself pausing from time to time and looking out on a world of my own discovery, marveling at its alien grandeur. Um, Explore a vast and procedurally generated universe of planets and the nearly infinite space in between. So that's the concept. Graphics, gorgeous visual tablets await as you unlock landscapes and anomalies never seen by anyone else. Sound in keeping with the broader structure of procedurally generated score facilitates um, between relaxed ambience and sci-fi wonder. Playability. This is a game about discovery. The mechanics, controls, and interaction options unfold gradually through experimentation. And entertainment, an inviting universe to explore and exploit, but not much story or gameplay backs up the unparalleled scope of the world. And the replay is moderate. All right, all right. Let me do this though, man. Before I even continue this, before I do this, man, let me make an apology for a quick second. Um, I apologize for mistaking the music artist that I reviewed in episode 85. Um, that she is. I mistakenly um I mistakenly said that she was from Brooklyn, but she just clarified that she's from Queensbridge. So I do apologize to Mini Sauce right there. And I just wanted to get that out the way so I don't really forget. And and by the way, man, if you like to make a charitable donation to my Cash App, which is G Money Stacks 555, that's $sign G Money Stacks 555. That's capital G, lowercase Money, capital S, lowercase Tackz 555. Once again, it's not about breaking the bank. It's about doing the best you can on whatever amount of money you want to put in to support this podcast show right here. And and um and by all means, you don't need a lot of money to actually show more support on that one. So there it is right there. Now let me continue off from where I left off here. So Esther Regos, Curse of the Stars, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 on PC comes out October the 11th. And in Sound Mind for Nintendo Switch also comes out October the 11th. No More Heroes 3 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC also comes out on the 11th as well. Now, hold on a minute. Let's see how much time we got here. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's do this. All right. Let's do this, though. Um. All right. So I'm gonna go up to October the 13th with those games. So No More Heroes 3. Suda 51 and Grasshopper manufactures nerdy assassin Travis Touchdown. Which is crazy actually. I actually did this one already, so my fault on that one. I actually did this one. Let me keep going. So Lego Brick Tales, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, Nintendo Switch to be exact, and PC comes out October the 12th. Fueled up PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC comes out October the 13th. Fueled up. Also coming out on the 13th is the Eternal Cylinder, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, October 13th. The Last Orikuru, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC also comes out on the 13th. And also coming out on the 13th is Triangle Strategy. Yes. Yes, Triangle Strategy. So political storylines are often a reminder of the ugliness that exists in our world. Greed and corruption usually drives the ship, leading those in charge to make difficult decisions about no-win situations. Triangle strategy represents the worst side of humanity in these instances, forcing you to question if peace is a native, no, naive dream, and if we can ever get out of the cycle of war. As a newly appointed leader, that's up to you to decide. Thought provoking questions about how to handle horrible situations like triangle strategy, a gripping experience, while the entertaining strategy combat keeps you um, coming back to face them. Unfortunately, some stumble along the way, keep triangle strategy from fully capitalizing on these appealing aspects. But even so, it offers an engaging experience on and off the battlefield. The triangle strategy excels at its turn-based strategy mechanics. As you play, you build up an army of different units with classes to help you fight in grid-based battles, where positioning and flanking are key. I used elevation to my advantage as you can deal great damage and stay safe from counterattacks. And I enjoyed finding new places to get an edge, whether it was positioning myself on top of houses or cliffs. However, the best part is the different abilities your party members have and seeing the synergy in action. My favorite moment was when I pushed back an enemy off of a cliff for fall damage straight into a trap I set with another character a few turns earlier. You also get a great variety of fighters. I had a martial arts granny and a child circus performer join my ranks. The circus performer could make a decoy to fake out the competition and absorb damage, while another character could change the weather to affect the power of my magic. Speaking of the elemental power you have at your disposal is extremely satisfying when combined with the environment. See an enemy standing in a puddle. Use a lighting spell to electrocute and paralyze them. Oh man. There's also great delight in watching your team level up, learn new abilities, and roam your headquarters. Three different weapon tiers and class promotions levels exist for upgrading your characters. The former is more about unlocking stat boosts and passive abilities, while the latter improves your stats and opens cool new abilities due to how linear progression is. I wish there was more customization in building characters, but it's an easy system to grasp. And I always look forward to new abilities to the new strategies they'd open. Unfortunately, battles can be a little repetitive and long-winded. Long-winded. Oh shit. Don't be surprised if you spend 30 to 45 minutes in a single encounter towards the end of the game. More variety in your objectives open, such as escort missions and defusing bombs, but I wouldn't call these fun. Most when they only prolong already lengthy combat sequences. Also, don't expect to get through the journey without having to level grind, especially as you get to the later stages. Battles have a limit to how many members you can bring in, and even the characters you take into every bout won't match the recommended level for every battle stage. Thankfully, grinding isn't too much of a pain, as much as there are mock battles that give great items for upgrades and allow you to gain a level or two for completing. Triangle strategy story centers on three nations that control vital resources, which caused great conflict in the past. For the last 30 years, the countries have worked together, sharing the resources to maintain peace. However, history tends to repeat itself, and a power hungry leader turns everything on its head, bringing out the worst in all the nation's leaders for some Game of Thrones style levels of political scheming. As a newly appointed leader named Serenoa, You must decide the foundation to lay for a new era. The overall plot isn't anything new, and it's told through boring, protracted cutscenes. However, it's the way triangle strategy represents decisions and deceptions that keeps things fresh. Often you see the different nations plotting in the background their next move, just enough to get you to question if you can trust them. Then you are usually presented with a choice that involves the suspicious party in some way. When's the best time to confront them? Do you use them to gain allies and supplies to get stronger for now, or cut all ties for fear of their inevitable betrayal? You decide your strategy, which you usually caters to one of three convictions: utility, morality, and or liberty. This will often influence who joins your army. Each conviction is also represented by a character close to Serenoa, his childhood best friend, new fiance, or loyal advisor. It adds a nice personal touch as I was often torn between these personalities I like versus their position on what to do next. When I chose against their preferred path, I felt the sting of letting them down, and sometimes the consequences impacted whether they even joined me in battle. Every decision has layers. I could see equal advantages and disadvantages, and often felt fearful over their potential repercussions. It made me weigh every choice very carefully. I even found myself surprised by some of my selections. Do you battle with an enemy to take on an even greater threat? Should should a few suffer for the greater good of many? Triangle strategy does a fantastic job at making you feel the plight of a leader, and the narrative isn't afraid to take dark turns. Sometimes the ominous and hopeless tone make the game hard to play, but I appreciate the writers not dialing back on humanity's darker tendencies, especially in times of war and political unrest. Hmm. Well, playing triangle strategies battles is probably the easiest and most carefree part of the experience. There's a lot of fun in strategizing and watching your character's abilities shine. And I love outsmarting the competition. The hardest part of the journey is the choices alongside the bleak realities it makes you confront about injustices of the world. The game has multiple endings, letting you pick your vision for the future. Even with my ending, which was one for a much more idealized, compassionate world, I was left a little disheartened, but maybe that's the point. And for that triangle strategy isn't like most games you play, which is what makes it special, even if it's not always perfectly in delivery of its harsh truths. Oh boy. Okay. Um. All right. Let me see. Okay, so let me see. So also coming out on October the 23rd is WRC Generations. Um. And yeah, I'm gonna stop right there, man. I think I'm gonna actually wrap this up right now. So let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up right now. Um, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up right now, so I don't have to. Okay, so all right, so I think that's gonna do it for episode 86. Episode title: Keep It Simple, and our last segment of the night will be stream choices on the go. Here it is. All right, so you like what you heard in today's episode or any previous episodes whatsoever, as far as the music artists, the TV shows, the movies, the games, um, all that stuff that we just reviewed. Why don't you go ahead and show some love by following Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, the review show, on Instagram, alongside with my other show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks Podcast. And also you can follow my number one show, which has 188 episodes already, which is Off the Meat Rack Chains New York podcast, on Facebook and Instagram. And you can follow me on the gram, which is G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. And once again, make sure you turn on your notifications for any updates on when each episode is going to be dropping and when the recording schedule is going to be pushed back and postponed to different days and all that stuff. Um, so yeah, and if you go to the link in bar where it says Linktree / Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, you're gonna see a whole list of audio streaming platforms, including YouTube, that's included already, and you're more than welcome to leave a voice message on there as well. So you're more than welcome to leave a voice message on there in the link where it says Anchor FM dot no no Anchor.fm / Meticulous Vibe Juice Pod. All right. So speaking of Anchor FM, that's where we're going to start. So we're going to start with Anchor, along with Audacity, Audible, Audio Burst, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM, Podcast Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podbay, Podfriend, Podopolo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts. Make sure you leave a 5-star rating on. Make sure you leave a 5-star rating on Podchaser, Podfriend, and Spotify. Make sure you subscribe to. Make sure you follow Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast on Spotify as well as my other shows that's also on Spotify as well. So yeah. And you can also listen to the episodes of Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show on Radio Public alongside with iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcasts, alongside with my other shows that's also on Spotify as well, which is Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks Podcast, the Sports Edition show, and Off the Meat Rack Chains New York podcast, with 188 episodes. It's already I'm about to post. I'm about to post 187 and 188 to stream platforms after this recording. So make sure you subscribe and follow the 3 podcast shows that I am doing. And last but not least, the YouTube. Make sure you grab that subscribe button and tap that noti bell so you can be reminded of when the show goes in the air via live stream. Click on the noti bell. Click on the noti bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream on. And also, if you miss any episodes, new and previous, everything's uploaded onto the Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast YouTube channel page. Make sure you leave a like and a comment along with the episodes. Share the episodes. Share the videos. Listen, stream, download these episodes. Of course, that's important. And also make sure you tell a friend to another friend. And also, by the way, word of mouth is important. And of course, there's going to be more video content, upcoming episodes, and previous episodes along the way. And of course, you can share the podcast along with the link that says Linktree/Meticulous Vouchers Podcast, alongside with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, friends of yours, even DJs or any and other people that you are cool with, whether it's from work or any other spots whatsoever. And yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I'm G Money Stacks. Thank you very much for listening and hanging out with me and rocking with me on episode 86, titled "Keep It Simple." And of course, the grind doesn't stop. Um, Hard work pays off. Don't rush the process. Trust the process in your craft, and be sure to follow your instincts, follow your goals and dreams on whatever career field you're trying to do, and of course, be sure to you know find something that makes you happy, um, creatively speaking, mentally, physically, and spiritually. All right, and and also find your voice, and also find something that clicks to you, that gets you into your zone, alongside with some tunnel vision. Once you have that tunnel vision in your craft and what you're creating, whether it's podcasting, whether it's whatever career field you're trying to do, don't let anybody stop you from doing that. You're doing this for yourself. You're not doing this to please people. Remember that. I'm up out of here, man. I'm off this shit. G Money Stacks is clocking out. Sorry about that. I'm off this shit, everybody. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your International Podcast Day. To all the podcasters out there, I hope you're doing. I hope you're doing great out there. And sorry about the little mishap. And I'll see y'all next time in the next episode. And of course, be sure to actually wish anybody out there that's podcasting like myself, to wish them a happy International Podcast Day. And I want to give a shout out to the podcasters, to some of the podcasters out there. Of course, I want to give a happy International Podcast Day to Scorpio P from the Breakroom Sports Podcast. Um, Devanye from the Pricey Cookie Podcast, alongside with everybody else that's hard to name, actually. So, and I want to say congratulations to those podcasters that's actually reached over 200 episodes, and the ones that's closer to 200 episodes, including myself and the crew from the Cheesy Controller Podcast that's reaching um, episode 200. I'm actually close to 200 episodes, so you know what I'm saying. So it'll take some time, man. You know what I'm saying. So I'm up out of here, man. I'm off this shit. Thank you very much for listening. Peace and one love. Enjoy the rest of the International Podcast Day and your weekend. Be careful out there. Be safe out there. Take care of one another, and especially checking in one another about their mental health and what they're going through. Be there for them with empathy and compassion, because mental health matters. Peace and one love, and have a good night, folks.